Hi, everyone. I am Jesse. I am the lead organizer for this event. Thank you so much for coming to our workshop session. This is really exciting. We have a wonderful team who is going to do an amazing lightning talk. The Tony Fazio, one of the best motivational speakers I have ever met in my life. And then him, along with the wonderful Terri and Laszlo, they're going to take you through a workshop activity of interviewing. So this is going to be great. It's all about confidence and having a solid foundation to be well in interviews. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. To you, Terri.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm going to go a little bit, maybe 2 seconds with that. How the workshop's going to go, Tony's going to speak for about 10 minutes. And then after that, Laszlo and I, we're going to pick somebody from the crowd. So you've been warned. This is a safe place and practice for you for your practice interviewing skills. And once we are done with that, we are going to go into our breakout rooms. Tony has a breakout room. Laszlo will have a breakout room, and I will have a breakout room. If you want to come in and just ask us any question, it's going to be offline. And then from that, we're going to gather back for clients or questions or anything like that. So do we have any questions before we begin? No questions? And then I'm going to ask now, could I have a volunteer to start it off? So when Tony is done, because if not, I will pick somebody out of the list. This is a workshop of actually participation. You guys cannot hide. Okay. Oh, Eric, thank you so much. Awesome. Okay. So once Tony's done, we are going to go first, and then if you want to go next, just put your name in the chat, and John will let me know, or Danica will let me know. Can bring it up on stage. So Eric, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Tony. So Tony's going to do his fabulous thing, and then after that, we'll get started with the workshop. So Tony, to you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for that introduction. That was pretty good. I have more confidence now. So today we're going to talk about basically confidence and how to gain it, how to separate yourself from fear, especially when you're going into a job interview. This whole thing today is about curiosity. It's about being able to think on your feet. It's about being able to separate yourself from, let's say, ego, the whole machismo thing, the whole, all the things that slow us down in our lives. So what I want to talk about today is basically failure. Personally, I do not believe in failure. I believe that every moment in your life is a learning experience. The only time you fail is when you go through an experience and you do not learn from that experience. That is when you truly fail. But when you go through something and you look back and you break it into sections and you tell yourself, okay, what could I have done? What did I do? What did I not do? What did I say? What did I not say? That's the learning experience. That's where you stand, you learn, and you take that information and you push it forward in your life. So when you're going into an interview, anytime you're talking to somebody, anytime, any moment in your life, you are going to fail. We've all failed a million times. The older you get, the more times you fail. It seems like people walk into this world that they have this great expectation that all the information is going to be with them. They're going to know everything and so on and so forth. But as we all know, that is not true. So what we do is we gather. That's what humans do. We gather information. We gather people. We gather resources. We gather, all the things that we need. Necessity. We live lives of necessity. We learn by necessity. So when you're going into an interview or anything, basically, it's about preparation. It's about, say I'm going into a company. First thing I do is I find out everything about that company, what they do, what's you know what is it about this company that I like? What is it? What's driving me to want to work at this company? Whether it's UX or X or anything, any job of any sort. Um, know the company, understand the company. What is it they stand for? What is it that they're pushing forward? What is their product, and so on and so forth. So that way, when you walk in there, you know exactly what to expect. Um, the person in front of you, I don't want to say doesn't matter, but it's more of a roadblock than anything else. Your main objective is getting as much information as you possibly can, because the more information you have, the more relaxed you're going to be. That is your confidence. That is what creates faith in yourself. It's just like when we were in school. When you have a test coming up, what's the difference of emotion? When you don't study for the test, how do you feel? When you do study for that test, how do you feel? When you study, you're prepared. You have that confidence, you have that faith in yourself. So when you're pushing forward in anything and everything, make sure you have that knowledge. Make sure before you walk in that door, you are ready. Um, Confidence comes from daily routines. Confidence comes from knowing yourself. That's one of the biggest things that I teach is getting to know oneself. Because if you don't know yourself, nobody else is going to. How do you walk into an interview and expect them to get to know you when you don't even know you? So the first thing you need to work on is to understand who you are and what your wants and what your needs are. So a lot of times what I tell people is when I work with them, I have them go through their entire life, and I have them go back and run through everything that they've been through, and figure out, did I do it correctly? If not, why? That is my favorite word of all time, is why. Why did I do this? Why did I not do this? Why did I say this? Why did I not say this? And then you just run through the different scenarios as you come through, because just doing that alone is going to give you a tremendous amount of information that you need for yourself. It's so once you walk into that interview or what have you, you're standing on your own 2 feet. You know yourself. You know that I am good in this situation. I am bad in this situation. And because I'm bad in this situation, these are the things that I need to improve on. He who knows themselves, wins the world, basically. If you don't know yourself, then, it's just, what's the point? The most information you need to gather is on yourself first. So back to the failure. The failure is, like I said, it's a learning experience. Life is a learning experience. We don't walk into this playground with all the answers. We will never know all the answers, but we can gather the answers to the questions that we most desire. And that's basically it. One, know who you are. That's the most important thing. That is the most important thing. Two, when you walk into a situation, make sure you have all the information that you can get. The more information that you have, the more confidence and the more faith you're going to have in yourself. So do your homework, do your research. It's just like anything and everything else. Everybody likes to segment life in these moments, in these times, and in these events. But when you truly look at life, it's all basically the same thing. It doesn't matter if I'm going into a job interview. It doesn't matter if I'm going to a friend's house to watch a football game or what have you. It's like, understand, you go into an interview, get the information that you need to make that interview work for you. If you're going to a friend's house to watch a game, make sure you do your research on whoever the team is playing, and because there's going to be some bets going on. So put yourself in a leveraged position. Life is about leverage. Life is about leverage. Life is about timing. So when you're walking through this life of ours, make sure you have the deck stacked in your favor. Don't You see a lot of people and they just walk in unprepared. You see a lot of people that are walking through life that are just unprepared. They didn't take the time to do their research. They didn't take the time to learn about themselves. If you don't do that, basically you deserve to fail. I mean, it's harsh, but it is what it is. It's just like when we're in school. If you have a test and you don't study for it, you're probably gonna fail, or at least get a C or a D. But if you study for it, you're gonna get an A or a B. That's the simple lesson in life. It is the absolute simple lesson in life. If you prepare yourself, you are going to do well. It might not be as well as you think you're gonna do, but guess what? Once you go through there and you take that test and you get a B, well, grab the test, see what you missed. Because there's always going to be another test. And there's always going to be, so you can go back and grab that information and push that information to the next test. So if you actually think about school, and because we've all been there, so I know we can all calculate on this, that you take your quizzes at the beginning, you take your mid-exam, you take your final. But life is like that. That first quiz is, what do you know? Okay, I know this and I don't know that. Well, you better learn what you don't know, because there's going to be a next test coming up. And if you take those quizzes and you add all those quizzes up, what happens? You do pretty well on that test, that mid-exam, and then so on and so forth. So when you think about testing for a class, it's pretty much like life. You know what I mean? If you don't learn from your failures, you're not going to be able to push forward. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So what we like to do, and what I like to do, is break it down for people. Get down to the nitty-gritty. And I'm going to leave you with this last thing. The only person in this world that you truly have to be honest with, and I mean 110%, is yourself. Because if you're not 110% honest with yourself, you're just going to trip yourself up. And that's where it all starts, is with self. So it's the way that I teach, the things that I do with the people that I teach are mentally exhausting. Because, well, we all have a lot of roadblocks that we need to get over. But other than that, it's, and as Jessica could attest, it's hard. It's, clearing out the old attic, as they say, is a very timely and brutal process. But once you get through it, the world is yours. You see, your perception of the world becomes completely different. And you're like, why was I bothered about that? Why did I even care about that? Why was I caring so much about what other people thought? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all, because what I do affects me. What I do and how I see the world and how I push myself and my soul and my spirit through this world is going to define who I am. We are how we act, we are how we speak, we are what we do. And that's basically it. So that's my talk. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Awesome. This is a great way to start off the day. I know it's early, everybody. You guys are here and stuff. So Laszlo, can you bring the question up and we can have Eric?
You want to give us a quick overview before we jump in, Terri?
Oh yeah. That's good. Yeah. So this little module that.
Okay.
Sorry, now I need to bring my screen up a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, this module that I designed and Laszlo built.
Okay, here he comes.
Oh, yeah, there he is. There's Eric. Hey, Eric. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Welcome. I think you're on mute.
Huh.
There you are.
Okay, there you go. There you are.
Okay.
There you are.
You can hear me?
Okay. Yes. So thank you so much for being the first volunteer, I should say. So this is just a small little test, right? So when you tell Laszlo to hit start, he's going to hit start. And you have 30 seconds to read the interview question and just answer it.
Okay. Let me just make this screen a little bigger.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Like I said, this is going to be a hot seat. This is no right or wrong answer. Just do the best that you can. And this will help you determine if you feel ready for that question. And then if you feel confident, then as Tony said, but when you answer like, oh, not quite sure, then that's the question that you can study. So this is kind of like a rapid fire, just to kind of get you ready.
The idea would be if you run into like an industry leader in a field you want to go into, and they just ask you a question, and there's a possibility that could convert into a job. Just you didn't have any preparation, you just go and you just know what you know, and we'll give you some feedback after your answer.
All right. Sounds high stakes.
Cool. There you go.
All right. So breaking down my design process, I'd say there are really kind of three broad steps I take with my experience. It's research, then ideate solutions, then the actual implementation. Prior to getting really into design, I was in project management. So I really got good at the implementation phase of projects, but really wanted to move more up.
Time's up. Time's up. Time's up. Time's up. It goes quick, huh?
That is, got me on my toes for sure.
No. I think how you started off was good, and you got to the point, but towards kind of like at the end, it felt like you were just kind of like, oh my God, I got to put this in, and then I got to put that in, and you kept like adding more. So I'm not saying it was wrong or anything, but when you're interviewing, with somebody, again, we are taught to have empathy, for the person interviewing, right? Maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe something's not going right. So the more clear you are with your message, and 30 seconds, I mean, I know it's quick, but people are busy. They don't have a lot of time. But once you answer right to the point, they're like, oh, directive, stuff like that. So Laszlo, thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to build on that, it's not so much that you have to answer in 30 seconds in the real world. It's more so get your main point across ahead of time, and then if you have time, you can elaborate on that. But it's better to get in the critical information than getting cut off, or they have to move on and you didn't get to what you actually wanted to communicate. Tony?
So before you even started, you said high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's already putting you at that tension spot. You're like, whoa, high stakes. We don't want to. We see before you're cutting your feet off before you're even getting into it. So, and this is something that this is you. This is who you are. This is what you do.
Mhm.
This is something that you should have down pat. This is what I'm talking about knowing yourself. And I'm talking about knowing yourself in every aspect. What you do, you know who you are. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of who you are. Don't go in there going because what it does is it makes people think that you don't have any confidence in yourself. It makes people think that you don't truly know who you are. Because you should be able to go in there and say, yeah, I'm a UX designer. I can do this, 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 this. I use this format, that format, the other format, and lay it out.
Mhm.
Be confident. Just be like, this is what I do. Take it or leave it. Go in there. I'm not. What you should be going in there with the attitude of taking over the conversation
Mhm.
and telling them exactly who you are. You're not there to answer questions per se.
Mhm.
You're there to tell them who you are because this is who I am. I want this job and I have confidence and faith in myself that I can and will do this job.
Mhm.
That's the emotion. That's the intent that you should have when you walk in there, because those are the people they want. They don't want people coming in there going, well, yeah. That's as a business owner, I wouldn't want somebody like that. I want somebody who's walking through the door who has their stuff together. I want somebody who's walking through that door who's confident in who they are, what they can do, and is able to sit there and go, you know what? If I don't know it, I'll figure it out. Plain and simple. So I know I can tell by watching you, you have a lot of knowledge. You know who you are. It's just a matter of having that confidence and faith in yourself in order to push that forward. I know in society today, it's kind of taboo to be. A lot of people think of it as arrogant when you speak forth, when you speak strongly about yourself. He's just arrogant. He thinks he knows everything. Well, no, I don't know everything, but I do know what I know, and I'm going to tell you about it because I want this job, and I have the confidence enough to push forward and make this happen. So I think for you, it's just a matter of before you even go into the. I know this is kind of like a shotgun to the face right now. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, whoa, okay. But even in situations, if you can task yourself in situations like this, everything else is easy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like climbing the tallest mountain and then coming back down, and then somebody says, "Okay, let's go." Climb this little mountain over here. You're like, that's basic. It's easy. It's no problem. And that's what you want to be. You want to be able to have that strength and that courage to be able to push forward no matter what. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'm done.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Go for it, Eric.
I just know myself personally, a situation like this, where I'm not given time, it can kind of just come out like word vomit. But like most interviews I've been in where I've been asked a very similar question to this, I can say like, either have the time to fully explain the process and each of the, I guess, components of the three major steps I laid out, or I have the time to like sit back and like think and like give a concise answer. But I feel like this particular type of situation where I catch someone out of the blue, or when I just get asked a question, that's really the most difficult, at least for me personally, to kind of deal with. So I guess, are there any tips for dealing with that initial shock, or just to organize really, really quickly?
Absolutely. The tips that I did, and Eric, I was just like you, just like deer in headlights, everything like that. I did a Toastmasters, and then after Toastmasters, I know You might laugh, but actually, I joined in a improv group.
Makes sense.
And that really helped me to stay on my feet, think in different ways, because I can guarantee you will have one of these moments either walking by or in a conversation or maybe through LinkedIn or whatever, and somebody you're going to come across like, oh, that person's really interesting, and then you start up a conversation, and and here comes a question. Oh, so it's your process, or what do you do? And when you give as Tony was saying, a clear, concise message, they're like, oh, okay. Because you're telling them a story, you're telling them a picture of what you're doing. And then if you can do that in an interview, then you're in. But if they can't kind of see what you see, if it's kind of gray or kind of out, like, I'm not too sure. So, Laszlo, do you have any more tips?
Yeah.
For Eric?
And I think the best quote I've ever heard to summarize it is, luck is preparedness meeting opportunity. So it's not so much that somebody is just really lucky. It's just that they knew the right answer at the right time, and then it just works out. But also, you never know who's Terri and I run a podcast, and we learn a lot about how you never know where you're going to end up or who's listening to you and what opportunities come from that. So even if you're just having a conversation, you're like in a social setting and somebody else is asking you something related to your field and you answer really well and very concise, you never know what that might become without you even trying. So like I said, just kind of own your success and you should do really well.
Thanks.
Nice.
Okay.
So,
did you want to take a stab at another question?
Yeah. Let me get one more jab in. So,
1, 2, 3, uppercut.
See, body blow. So for me, most people don't see it, but I'm an extreme introvert. It took me a long time to be this vocal. I've always been very confident, but my vocal stance has always been kind of weak. It's something that I really had to truly work on. And I've worked very hard for a very long time just to be able to see, like when I'm talking to you right now, I'm very uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable. I would rather go like hide in the closet, but we can't do that in life. That's the thing. And if I can do it, you can do it, because I am the most introvert person on the planet. But, we have to live our lives. We have to push forward. So my recommendation to you is, you do seem a bit on the shy side. You seem like conversation is difficult. I can spot my fellow difficult conversation people, So what you need to do is just start talking to people. If you're at the store, turn around and talk to the person behind you, or talk to the person in front of you, or have a conversation with the person who's bagging your groceries or whatever. Just start talking to people. And it's just like anything and everything else. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. At the beginning, you know how it is. It's like you don't want to have conversations because you're not quite sure what to say.
Yeah.
You're just kind of standing there kind of dumbfounded, like, well, what am I supposed to say to this person? But as time goes, if you just push that process, it's, speaking is like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it becomes. So from one introvert to, or one conversation tactician to another, lack of, that's what I did. You just got to force yourself to do it, and you'll be fine. Because like I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I spoke like 3 words a year. So, so yeah, just have faith in yourself and push through, man. You'll be okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric, for being the first one. I hope it was helpful. Okay. Oh, yay! We're getting a lot more people. Okay, we have Isabel.
I'll give you a small token for jumping on.
Okay, so we have Isabel. Isabel, if you can go to the moderated panel. Isabel, can you hear us?
You need to push.
You maybe want to share. Yeah, to share audio, and it's up in the hand corner. No, I'm sorry, right hand corner. Right, the other side. Isabel? Okay, if not, then we'll just continue and maybe I'll go from there. Okay, what about Jordan? Can you hear us, Jordan? Jordan. No, Jordan. Okay, we're just gonna go down the list. Okay, Catherine. Catherine. Okay. Maggie. Okay. Sean or Scene? Just making sure.
Okay. So Terri, it looks like someone by the name of Dylan.
Yes.
He wants to volunteer. My good friend Dylan Chi.
Okay. Okay, Dylan, let's get you on here.
There we go.
There he is.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Great.
Perfect. Okay.
Throw out your coffee.
The shotgun to the face that Eric got just like spiked my adrenaline like way up through the room, like, woo, let's go. Like, I didn't. I finished my coffee though. I'm kind of regretting it now.
That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Don't regret.
Yeah, no, safe place. I mean,
life's too short for regrets, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, so you just let Laszlo know when you're ready.
Say go, and I'll click next.
All right, go. I got into UX design actually through my first part-time job at college. I was in IT, and the same questions kept on coming up over and over again. And I realized that it was the design of the thing that they were messing with, and not the person that was having issues. So later on, I was in a customer service role, and that led me to realize that there's an opportunity here where design can help the user know intuitively what to do.
Time. So number one, how did that feel? What, Laszlo?
No, I was gonna say that was pretty good. I got a full story in that 30 seconds. That was nice. Go for it.
Yeah.
Terri.
No, yeah. I like how the way how you just jumped in just with the question, you read it and you're like, okay, go. I didn't see any kind of hesitation whatsoever, so that was really good. I liked how you when you said about the software, that was the instance of that story, right? So my only bit about that story, if you can kind of to flip-flop it, because that was like the really importance of that story is like that pinpoint, right? So with that pinpoint about that software, if you can just flip the script a little bit and just bring that a little more into the story, like, oh, you will actually get their attention early on instead of like 20 seconds later, right? Because just imagine you are here in an interview, they get a call of an emergency call, somebody's sick or they have to leave, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then, and they switch out. So it's always better to get that information beforehand than versus after. So Laszlo.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of curious on Tony's thought on this is a good social experiment, by the way, where you've kind of taken the feedback from the person before you and you've applied it. And then I'm curious how we'll see that progress. But I could tell that you kind of know how to approach these now. It's just a matter of maybe a little practice, but you knew exactly what we were looking for. And then you just kind of went for it and no regrets. You didn't pause. You didn't, you just did it. And considering that's a question that's could probably be closer to like 1 to 2 minutes in a real setting, I think you actually did pretty well. Tony?
That was really good. That was really good. So, do you know the difference? Did you feel the difference between how you felt when you started versus how you ended? Because when you first started, you were kind of that starting momentum, that kind of that you were starting to rev up, and then you got about halfway through and you were cooking, man. You were cooking, you were going, you were putting it down. So then by the time you got to the end, you were just
Right.
you were fluid, you know? So what I would recommend is where you finished is where you should probably start. So that mood, that confidence, that faith in yourself,
All that energy too.
all that energy, yeah. So when you have that, when you start with that, because people are going to turn you on or turn you off mentally within that first 3 to 5 seconds. Instinctual, subconscious, they're either going to listen to you or they're not going to listen to you. So it's very important that right off the bat, you're just like, hey, how you doing? You know, pull their attention, pull them into you, and then you can give them your information. You know what I mean? So it's, for me, I'm very boisterous. I'm very loud. I like to use my hands. Like, I grew up in an Italian and Irish family, so we're always like, hey, how you doing? But but it's you know, that works for me. And why is because I'm comfortable with that. It's not like I'm trying to put on a show. It's just who I am. So you have to learn how to do it in your process, your way. So if you can practice and get yourself to start with that enthusiasm, but do it in your way. You know, I don't expect you to be anybody but yourself. So you have to master your own process. And I think that is what's going to push you ahead. Because most people, they get in these interviews and they act like they want them to act. You know, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be an engineer, so I'm going to try and act as engineerish as I possibly can to get this job. But what you need to do is be yourself, because when you're yourself, that's when your true nature comes out. That's your true flow, as they say. So when you're talking to somebody, don't try and be that person that you think they want you to be. Be you. Just let's flow with who you are. And because that's when you're going to be your most relaxed. That's when that energy is going to be able to come forth. That's when that information is going to come forth. Because if you're trying to be that person that they want and trying to get your information out at the same time, you're basically, you know, blocking yourself, you know. But I mean, you did a great job. I mean, you came right off the bat, you hit it, you very little very little. I don't even think you even said or the entire time. You just were going for it. You put yourself out there, and that was amazing. That was great. And the thing about it is, so many people can't do that, and you already have it. So you're already ahead of the game. So, man, you did a good job.
Yeah, good job.
That's all I gotta say. You did a really good job.
What are your thoughts?
So, Dylan, yeah.
I'm curious why you decided to use this thing that you coded up to handle the interview questions.
Why we went with this route? It's really just a very fancy flashcard model, right? It was just an idea Terri came up with, and then this goes into kind of stretching your your experience and not being afraid to try things. And we thought this would just be a really cool thing. And actually, when we're done, you can take this with you, and it's available. You can just hit it from your phone. It's fully mobile responsive. You can pull it up whenever you want. And it was just a good kind of a freebie for anybody who joins this. They can keep quizzing themselves. And I don't know, what were your thoughts? What do you think of the format?
I actually snapped a picture of the URL to see if I could try it afterwards.
Yeah. No, I'll pull up a QR code and you can scan it if you want. But I'm gonna drop the URL in the chat.
Perfect. I think I have some more empathy for the people that I do the icon test with, like just blank screen icon in the middle. Like this is a vacuum test, right? Like there isn't a before, there isn't an after. It's just this and now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're going to have, excuse me, and you're going to have moments in job interviews or just even meeting people. You have 30 seconds, and that 30 seconds is going to be very important, because if you connect with them, you can meet somebody at a grocery store or whatnot, and you just start chit-chatting. Oh, so what do you do? Oh, I do such and such. Oh, okay. And maybe they liked your vibe, right? And then maybe 3 weeks later, you get an email. Hey, remember, I know somebody. Dylan can do this, maybe. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually, I have a real quick story. I talked to somebody just through LinkedIn, just gave him 30 minutes of my time. It turns around, he had a client who needed some artwork done, and basically he didn't quite understand of what he was really asking. So basically, I asked a couple more questions. Well, it actually turns out they needed a PHP developer. Well, I don't code, but I know another PHP, small business person. So anyway, I reached out up to Sheldon. But anyway, it turns out Sheldon, he was booked for the next 3 months, but he knew people. So he reached out to his network, and this other person got the job. So that's how it works. And that's why we are doing this, for everybody to be a lot more. I mean, I know Laszlo practice, Tony practice. I mean, there is no one set way, right? It's just practice. Okay. So what? Well, Laszlo, sorry.
You're just never done, right? You're always trying to keep yourself sharp.
Yeah, always. Interview, your portfolio, your thinking, your networking. It's an all-going self-improvement for yourself. You have to invest in yourself, because if you don't, nobody else will.
Amen to that.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Well,
So I talk about it all the time. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dylan. Okay, I have Duke. So Duke, if you can hit. Okay, let me bring you in. Okay, can you hear us? Duke?
Yes.
Okay, she is coming on shortly.
Uh,
Aloha.
You guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Hi. Sorry.
Hi, good morning. I know it's so early in Hawaii right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're not in our house today, so it's kind of different.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Well, you've seen the drill. You just let Laszlo know whenever you're ready.
Okay. Whew. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. When they don't like the design, I will ask them why and how can I improve it. So I need the construction feedback instead of just like I don't like it. So if they can help me more about color, layout, or the interaction or whatever, that would be helpful. I would appreciate that. And I will ask for even more people, like, what do they think about that design, and find the part that what need to be done to get it better.
Okay, time. Okay. Yeah, you got a really hard question. Because just for all designers, they are it's definitely a hard question to answer. I think you came in definitely answering the question, but also too, I do want to pinpoint out. So as you said before, if a client doesn't care for the design, and when you're going to ask them why, that's good. But also too, as designers, we have to educate our clients why, if it is of a certain color, or maybe the color ratios might be off because of accessibility standards. So there's always that basic foundation, even though it could be a logo, or it could be a print piece, or it could be a website, or it can be an EPUB, or maybe a PowerPoint presentation. There's always foundations, and we as designers definitely have to educate them about that. So it is a delicate line. So Laszlo, thoughts?
No, I think that was pretty good. You approached it from the consumer first perspective, right? Their opinion is valuable. It wasn't they're obviously wrong. It was, you went into, let me try to understand the issue, and then I can kind of work with that. And I didn't think it was bad. Tony?
I thought it was great. I mean, you're very precise, straight to the point. I thought, wow, I have nothing to say.
that is a win right there.
It was really good.
Yeah, that's a win there.
It's just, and what's most impressive is that English is your second language, yes? And that is truly impressive, to be able to take a second language learned, and to be able to go through that thought process and truly, honestly, it's amazing. Most people can't get through it in their original language. You know what I mean? So
he's
seriously,
right.
I think it is absolutely amazing. I think you did a wonderful job.
You.
Truly, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
So any thoughts for us, Duke? How did it feel to have like that timer there? Duke?
Yes, sorry. Us? Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you asked someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I agree with Terri. That is a great suggestion. Yeah, not only ask them for the feedback, but also I understand that sometimes we have to explain them as well. Why we do this, instead of, especially if they keep changing it probably 1,000 times, and after that we probably we have to educate them a little bit why we do this, right? And I totally agree with that. Yeah, this is a great experience. I just have a interview first round yesterday actually, and I was so nervous. Oh. I wish this thing happened before yesterday. I appreciate, yeah.
Well,
this will prep you for the next round.
The next round.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that's why Laszlo and I wanted just to do like a hot seat interview thing, because it's going to happen in real life. You're going to be in the hot seat no matter what. And the more you interview and the more you actually talk to recruiters on the phone, you're going to feel a vibe with them. Like, hey, how you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm fine. You're like, okay, I don't want to talk to you. A, I don't want to talk to you. B, this job doesn't sound very exciting. So it starts with the recruiter too. So if
Yeah.
you feel like, I don't think so, go with your gut.
Yeah.
Don't doubt yourself. As Tony said, know thyself.
So let me ask you this: why were
Because
you
I
nervous?
haven't been in the interview process for a long time. I didn't have like I don't look for a job probably like 3 years already, 3-4 years. And then when I get into UX, I just kind of prepare myself to be not perfect, but ready to have a knowledge enough. And that is suddenly just happened a day before, like that guy contact me because I reached out to him. So I don't really have time to prepare myself that much. So I have between 5 p.m. until 1 p.m. of the next day just to know that company. And during the next day before the interview, I have something else happen that I can't really stay home and do the research. So I kind of a little bit nervous about that. Also, I know it's a first round interview, but I don't know what are they expect from me. I prepare as much as I can, but actually whatever that I prepare regarding about design, UX, or like a process that I do in my portfolio, they didn't ask that. I think that's gonna be for the next round. They just asked me like why I choose that company. And
Okay.
yeah, that's why I'm nervous.
Okay, definitely
Okay.
a little tip. So when you go through this exercise, right, either use your phone or use something to actually record yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear yourself back within not even 30 minutes, I guarantee you within 15 minutes, you will exactly know what to say, what not to say, and how to change your verbiage around. Because when I was doing my first conference talk and like interviewing, I did the same thing. And I kid you not, within like the 5 minutes, I'm all, oh my God, that's what the heck I sound like. It's like a monkey. It was just all over the place. And that's when I started to like pick out, what was important or what was not, and shut your eyes when you do it, and play it a couple times. And then you take the language that resonates with you and then you type it, and then you write it down. And then that's when you're starting to craft your story, because they want to hear a story. You'll get their attention a lot more of when you tell a story.
Yeah, I think that is a practice I need to do.
Yeah.
One more thing. One thing I can share that people I've worked with throughout the years, they talk about how before you interview for the company you actually want to work for, you interview for 5 companies before that, just because interviewing itself isn't necessarily reflective of what you'll do on a day-to-day. It's just being able to interview well sometimes. So if you have this company you want to work for, then don't be afraid to just throw in random interviews here and there, and then you start to understand what the market needs right now and what they're looking for. And then when you reach the company you actually want to interview for, you're already in that polished state. And like, it's all practice, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
Yeah, that's a great point, Laszlo.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Okay, Duke, thank you so much. Okay,
I'm probably
gonna butcher the name. Lordness. I know I'm gonna butcher it. I'm horrible with names, so I'm just gonna say Miss Castro, and you can tell me how to pronounce your name.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Katya, feel free to.
My name is Lourdes.
Lourdes.
Oh, Lourdes. Okay, thank you so much for correcting me. Okay.
Castro, if you want.
That's okay. Okay, so you let Laszlo whenever you are ready. and you'll get your question.
I'm ready. Well, I have worked in Agile with Scrum, and I really like it because it's a way to go straight away to what the product needs and have the whole team aligned. And it's like agile process, as the word says. But also, for me, it's better when we also combine
Time.
Lean.
No, that was great. Again, that was a pretty overall like heavy hit question. I mean, like that's like the meat is like, well, do you do lean or do you do agile? So what kind of environment that you've worked in, right? So I definitely think of your answers. It was great. As you started to talk, it was like as you started, you kind of thought about it. So you kind of face went up a little bit, and then after that, after you got your thoughts, you were like right in it. So also too, same thing just with Eric. Within of your storyline, I think within 15 or 20 seconds, that's when you start to get into the meat of everything. So all we have to do is just take that meat of that pocket, what you said, and just put it right at the beginning. So therefore, when they ask you that question, you said, yes, I have. And this was the process on this team, XYZ. So you're there a little bit quicker on that, because the more you come out at the gate, as Tony says, like boom, 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 you're going to grab their attention. So Laszlo, thoughts?
Yeah, no, this was a fairly complex question. And I think for a question like this, you don't have to go too much into detail. You can just go into, I have experience in, and then just wrap that up as fast. And then if they want to hear more, they can keep going. Because I noticed you start off kind of quick, and then you hit a point where you kind of ran out of words, and then you paused a little. So, yeah, just if don't try not to back yourself into a corner, and you don't have to know everything. Just state what you know well, and then leave it up to them if they want to learn more. But yeah, thanks. Yeah, Tony? True.
Good. Yeah, it was good. Keep that momentum. So the planning process before you even go into the interview, know what you want to say. Understand why you're there. Understand what job you are trying to get. Because that's going to give you the confidence. That's going to give you that faith. That's going to give you that fluidity of what you actually want to say. Because when you're doing it here, there's a question that you didn't know you were going to answer. Okay. So you were stumbling and bumbling and looking for the answer inside your head. Yes. But it is actually something that you already know. True.
I need to find this is what you said. I was trying to puzzle things. I didn't answer the question. I was trying to explain things, and that was the question.
Yep. So soon as you read the question, you want to get to the point where it already starts to formulate in your head. You want to get to a point where you know the job that you do. You know what you're capable of. You know everything that you've done in your life, yes, according to this job, and so on and so forth. So you shouldn't have to think about who you are. You shouldn't have to think about what you do. It should already be there. And this is what I talked about, knowing yourself. Okay? Because in order to truly know yourself, you can ask me about anything that I've done in my past, and I will and formulate it out for you. So without even stuttering about it, because it's me. I've lived it. And that's how you should be. If somebody asks you a question, you should be, yes, okay, I did this, 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 and this, and I did this and this because, and it was directed towards, and blah 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 blah, and be able to have that
cadence,
that that elevator speech already set up on who you are. You know, that 30 seconds, that if you know, like we talked about before, if you meet somebody out and about, you should have that 30-second speech of who you are and what you do. Hi, my name's somebody, and I do this, and this. How are you doing? Okay, what do you do? You know, always being able to, you want it to be able to flow for one specific reason. So that way you can direct the conversation. Okay. If I'm talking to you and you start asking me questions, if I'm stumbling and bumbling with my words, it's very hard for me to take control of that conversation. But if we're sitting here and we're talking and you ask me, you know, what kind of restaurant do you like? Oh, I love Italian food. You know, I have this restaurant that I like to go to. What do you like? Oh, you like that kind of food? Hey, I know there's a restaurant over so and so and so and so that serves that food. Do you like more of like a southern or a northern version? Or see, that's how you control. And that's what you want to do in an interview, is to be able to take control of that event. It doesn't matter what it is. You always want to be able to take control of that event. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a control freak per se, but you want to be able to take that steering wheel and be able to turn it any way you want to be able to go. So that's the important thing about an interview is, and that's how I talked about, you know, going in prepared, knowing what you want to say, because you know the company that you're walking into. You know what they do. You know the job that you're interviewing for. Yes? So you know what they're going to expect. So you're already ahead of the game. If you look at it in that manner, you're already ahead. It's not like you're just walking into some random company and going, hey, does anybody have a job for me? No, you're going there for a specific reason. So when you go in there for that interview, you know, you're like, oh, it's like pulling that cheat sheet out of your sleeve. You know, oh, I know he's going to ask me about this, or he's going to ask me about that, because it's just part of the job. You know what I mean? So that's where that preparation comes in. So if you walk in there prepared, you're going to have so much confidence and so much faith in yourself because you already have the answers. I'm already talking with my hands, aren't I? So that's the, you know, preparation gives you that faith. Preparation gives you that confidence. So you're not in there going, well, you know. So if I were you, I would work on your preparation, just getting that information ahead of time, and being able to push that forward because you know what you know when you know what you don't know. It is what it is, you know. And having the faith and the ability to go in there and say, I do this, and this is the reasons why, and so on and so forth, and, you know, and so on. But if there's something I don't know, I can always learn it. And you'd be surprised how people are like, oh, wow. Because they see that initiative, you know? So it's okay if you don't know something. As long as you state that simple fact that I do not know this, but I will learn this. People are kind of like, wow, okay, I like this person, because you're taking that initiative. They know that you want that job. You know that you are going to be a player in that company.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Tony. So, any feedback, Loris?
No, thank you so much. I'm just enjoying so much, so we can, you know, move to the next.
Sounds good.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So we're going to
Good.
bring Roman in.
Thank you.
Good job.
Hi.
Setting there. Yep, we can hear you.
Hopefully there's not a lot of wind.
Yeah, hey,
I am
Roman.
currently outside, but hopefully this works just fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. You just let Laszlo know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Tools do I use? I use different tools at different stages of the process. I'm a huge fan of Adobe XD, and I know the wind just picked up, so I apologize about that. But Adobe XD is the tool that I love using the most. I also use Figma for more of like polishing the presentation aspects. I also really like Usability Hub for testing and being able to just get those like statistic results to like make data-driven decisions right away is very helpful.
Time. No, nice job. 30 seconds. It goes by fast, huh?
Sure does.
Yeah. Basically, so you got the question. You took maybe 5 seconds to kind of get up your placement because it kind of saw it in your face a little bit, like tools. Okay. I'll start here, right? So, how the way you began, after you got the thought, I thought that was great and stuff. But also too, I liked how the way at first it just sounded like that, that was all that you were just going to talk about, which is Adobe XD, because obviously I really love Adobe XD. It's like, oh, okay. So like, I thought you were going to just Adobe. And then after that, you switch gears saying, hey, I've done this other tool and this other tool, but maybe you can give them the list first. It says, these are the tools that basically, I've done in the past is Figma, usability, go down the list and then maybe circle back and maybe pick out 1 or 2 points, about them. But also too, you want to put in there, it's like, once you know one tool, then I can pretty much use the other ones, because not all companies use the same tools, and the processes is a little bit different too. So Laszlo, thoughts?
Yeah, no, it was good. I would also kind of lean towards the more of a list approach, maybe not just a dry list, but these are the tools I use during my development process or my creative process, and then just cover the main, what do you call them, tent poles. And then you'll be talking to somebody who already knows these products. You don't have to go into too much detail in such a short window. And then that might actually pique their interest after the fact, and they'll say, oh, that's interesting. I noticed you mentioned Adobe XD. Why is that? That can lead to another conversation. But really, one thing that happened that I thought was really interesting is where you were kind of caught off guard by the wind and then how you handled that. And that took away like 1/6 of your time. And I'm curious to see how Tony would recommend handling these uncertain distractions. So, but yeah, overall, I think pretty good. Tony?
Good. So, describe to me the thing that you're most proud of.
About in general, anything. Yeah, I think just like personally, I'm really proud of like my ability to like consistently learn new skills and like reiterate like how I can present myself and how I can think of myself as like a person who makes things. I like becoming a UX designer was really important to me because I was going through college and I didn't want to like come out of it not knowing how to make anything. And now that I can design things, I just feel like very empowered to make a different kind of impact on the world, one that I'm more proud of.
All right, stop right there. That last 2 sentences, you see how you feel? See how that emotion that you were feeling? That you were proud of yourself. You had that confidence. You had that faith in yourself. That's what you want to capture when you're speaking. That's what you want to feel. When you're going through when you're answering that question, that's how you should have that passion. You should have that faith in yourself, because it's who you are. It's what you do. You are what you do. Okay? And as a UX designer, that's who you are. You know what I mean? So that is the kind of passion that you should have when you're talking about yourself. I mean, Terri and Laszlo and Jessica can tell you when I talk about, what I do, I have a lot of passion in it. and I'm very vocal. I talk with my hands, and I'm very, because it's who I am. Because I'm very passionate about who I am and what I do, and that's how you need to be, because people are going to see that. People want to see your passion. They don't want you to reiterate an answer. Okay, well, I do this, and that. No, they want to say, I do this. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I love. You know, they want that passion. They want that, ooh, this guy is really digging what he's doing. This guy's a UX designer. You can tell through and through. You know, that's what they want. They want that feeling. They want that passion. So when you're just reiterating an answer, you're just like everybody else. Everybody else that's sitting in that chair that you're sitting in right now. They're giving that just the answer of, yeah, I do this. I worked here. We did this. We did a couple projects that were this, and it was directed towards that. And yeah. No, they don't want that. There's like, yeah, I was working at so-and-so, and we were doing this project on so-and-so, and it was directed towards this, and it was amazing because I really got to learn this, and this, which just helped me to be a UX designer. They want that. They want to know that you're alive. They want to know that you actually exist, and that you're just not another body in the room. Because when you gather that passion, when you gather that faith in yourself, that's when the true you comes out. That's when the world changes. That's when your perception of the world changes. Because you can be another zombie walking the earth, or you can be that person who's like, wow, I'm really into this. I really dig this. And I really have, and because of that, I have so much faith in what I do, because I have so much faith in who I am. Because that last two sentences that you gave me on your passion, that was it. Your eyes changed, your body changed, your facial expressions changed, and that's what you need to push forward. So that's my two.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep, feedback and thoughts on how this went?
I think this is like a helpful question to practice, especially to being like, how can I tell a 30-second story that like actually gives a detailed list of the tools that I use while also explaining process. I was having like a 5-second debate in my head about which route to go, and I think that I ended up somewhere in between the two of them. So I think this is a very helpful question to practice, and I think I'm going to spend some more time like writing out different answers to this to find the one that I like best.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's an interesting one because everybody uses the same tools, right? So trying to differentiate yourself when everybody does the exact same has a very similar experience. That's a very tricky thing to do. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I'm not sure what happened to Terri.
I know. Where's Terri?
Okay. Alrighty. We will wait a little bit for Terri to come back. But actually, there was a question in the chat that I want to get to. So Monica asked, I have a hard time with the what is your process question because I feel like all UX designers are going to say the same thing. Research, ideate, test, iterate, repeat, or the classic, it depends. What are your two thoughts on that?
Tony, you want to go first?
Okay. Make that answer yours. How do you feel about it? What's your process? You know, don't give a generic. It's like you said, you know, you're worrying about giving a generic answer. So don't. What's your perception? How do you see it? How do you feel it? Most importantly, how do you feel it? You have to make it yours. If you want it to be meaningful, if you want it to be authentic, you have to make it yours. Plain and simple.
Yeah, no, it's one of those where you want to instead of just answering the question broadly, you can emphasize a specific part of that you actually really are passionate about, and how you might even cross collaborate on the other parts of those scenarios.
Nice, beautiful. So, Monica, I hope that helps. Or up on stage and
yeah, you can just come on and chat.
Okay, cool. Oh, she can't join any of the breakouts. That's okay.
Huh? I know. Hey, Terri.
Yeah, sorry guys. Tony was talking, and then all my screens were Zoom, all the loading screens. So it's like, I think I better sign out and sign back in. So what did I miss?
We addressed the question in the chat while we were waiting.
Oh, nice. So was that question answered good, or any more feedback?
I think so. Oh, you can have your take on it. So the question was, I have a hard time with the what is your process question, because I feel like all UX designers are going to say the same thing: research, ideate, test, iterate, repeat, or the classic, it depends.
That is true, because that's what we do. But not only that, but you can talk about the time frame, right? And again, everything is about of a story. So those are of your building blocks, right? So within those building blocks, what did you do for this project? On project A, I only had 8 hours to come with this, and this is what I did. On the second project, I had more time, XYZ. So you just pick different points just for each block, maybe, instead of saying the whole project, right? Because when you think of it as talking about the whole project, it can get monotone, right? In music, nobody wants to listen to monotone music. Nobody wants to hear somebody talking in monotone. Hi, I'm Jerry. I like lime or whatever, right? Versus, hey, I'm Jerry. Oh, lime is the great. So again, it's the same thing with those building blocks. Yeah, that's what we do. But how you deliver the information, that's what they're going to remember. So does that help?
I think it does. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we're going to go into our breakout rooms, and there's tiles. If you go to on the left-hand side, it says session. Tony has a breakout room, Laszlo has a breakout room, and I have a breakout room. So we're going to be there for about 10 minutes or so. And then after that, then we're going to be coming back to here to the main thing. And just to wrap it up, so if you guys want to leave and go to our breakout rooms, we'll be there for about 10 minutes, 8 or 9, 10 minutes, because we're just kind of running a little behind. If there's any questions, and then we'll come back here. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming up and showing up. I know it's hard. I know interviewing is very, very hard. So Laszlo, any last words?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody for joining. I hope this wasn't a scare tactic and you actually enjoyed it. Feel free to keep using that widget or the little mini app we created. That's open for anybody to use whenever they want. And also, if anybody here is interested in ever being on a podcast, reach out to Terri or I through LinkedIn, and we'd love to have you on and just talk UX.